Good morning. I know what we're all thinking here. What is she having for breakfast? I know we're not, but I am having a small bowl of cottage cheese with, like, you can't see it, but it's chili sauce. I don't know why, like, I was just having some regular, like, I took a bite and I was like, this needs something. Needed the chili sauce. Also, I'm having this applesauce pack here on the side because I don't want anything too filling because I have a doctor's appointment. And also, don't mind the dishes. These are all clean. I just made a really big dinner last night and they have not been put away yet. So I'm telling you, this Pelarumo, I don't know, chili garlic sauce. I think I've showed this to you guys before. I don't remember. It's so freaking good. Just like, it's so good. It's so like sweet and tangy and spicy and just like, I don't know, I was craving it a lot, and I don't eat it often because a lot of like chili sauces will kind of leave like a smoky flavor in my mouth for days, and it'll drive me insane, like no matter how much I brush or what I eat. And I was just like, I don't want that. But then I was eating that cottage cheese and I was like, that's gonna be good. Are you supposed to shake these? It doesn't say, but I always kind of give them a shake because I don't know, I'm just worried. Like, I've opened these before and got like a mouthful of the water, and then you're like, these are so good. I love applesauce. I never buy it, I never think of it, but like I get these for free like once a week, and nobody else in my house will eat them, so I do, and I love them. Okay, now that I've finished breakfast, we can address the actual thing, which is, how the hell did we get here? So I'm gonna give you guys a little backstory of what the heck is going on, because it has been a whirlwind of hell and trying to, like, oh my god, just like so much fear and just anxiety and not knowing what was going on. Back in February, on February 4th, I woke up and I wasn't feeling good, and I was like, oh crap, I think I'm getting sick. And it just kind of felt like a head cold, which is what it was. Like, I woke up the day after that and I was like, okay, yeah, I got a head cold, this sucks, you know, cough, achy, head feels like a balloon, all the basic symptoms of a head cold, and that was fine. And a week later, when I started to feel better, all of a sudden I was like feeling way worse, and I was like, what the heck? So I go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you have a really bad sinus infection. And he was like, most of the time when you are like on the incline to getting better and you just kind of take a nosedive, it can be something like a sinus infection. And he looked and he was like, it's pretty bad. So he put me on antibiotics and was like, you know, hopefully it'll clear up and then you're gonna be good. And I was like, sweet. So, you know, I was sick the first week with the head cold, and then a week later it turned into a sinus infection. A week later, as I was slowly starting to get better again, I start declining, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, why do I feel like I'm getting sick all over again? I go to the doctor and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but my lungs are killing me. I feel awful. Like, please check me out. And they tell me that it looks like my sickness turned into a lung infection, which happens to me all the time. So I was like, that's what I was expecting, was, okay, I've got like a respiratory infection, I'm just gonna have to be on a steroid and I'm gonna feel better in a couple days. So they're like, continue taking the antibiotics for your sinus infection, and now we're gonna put you on a steroid. Like, take a nebulizer and take your rescue inhaler if you need it. Well, the next day I wake up and I feel so bad, and I was like, this is making me think of when I had COVID, and I was like, I'm gonna take a test. Wouldn't you know, I test positive for COVID, and I call the doctor and I'm like, hey, my test just came up positive, what do I do? And they're like, continue on what you're taking already, and you know, if you get any worse, come and be seen. If not, that's great, hopefully you feel better soon. So exactly a week after that, as I'm feeling better, I test negative, and I was like, okay, you know, it was just rough 3 weeks of, you know, just being sick, but I am finally feeling better. come Saturday, no, Sunday. So Saturday, I had like this little tickle in my throat, and I had been coughing since I had got sick. So I just kind of figured like, yeah, my throat's gonna be irritated for a while. I've been coughing for 3 weeks. Like, this is just gonna happen. And but then I'm like, Sunday comes and I'm like, man, my throat is really starting to bug me, and it feels like I've got gravel in there. Like, I just cannot, like, it's just getting worse. And so I'm like, what do I do? Like, am I getting sick again? Am I starting to decline, or is it just kind of like the effects of everything that I've recently had? So I think it was Monday. I get up and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so sick. And I call my mom and I'm like, yep, I'm really sick. And she's like, what the hell is going on with you? And then we had an appointment for Tuesday. So I was like, I'm just going to go into urgent care while my boyfriend is in his appointment. And I'm going to tell him like, hey, I don't know what's going on. Because I was worried that they were going to be like, you have pneumonia, and which I've had before. And I was like, they're just going to be like, here's some more antibiotics, go home, get lots of rest, and, you know, follow back here soon. So I go into the doctor and I'm like, here's all my symptoms, here's what's going on. And she's like, okay. She's like, I think you might have pneumonia, but obviously I'm going to test you. Let's do some blood work, let's do some x-rays. And then she's like, actually, I want to do the blood work before I do the x-rays, because I want to check your D-dimer, which is like, if you have a blood clot, if you have an infection in your body, it will usually be off and kind of give them an indication of what could be going on. The biggest problem about that is, like, they said it's something very tiny. Like, you could have a cut, could make, like, having a cut on your body could make your D-dimer slightly off or something. But she was like, if your blood results come back and they're abnormal, I need you to go to the hospital. And I was like, instantly I was like, okay, well, hopefully it comes back fine, and then we can just do the x-ray and you'll be like, okay, go home and get rest. And so I got my blood work done and I'm waiting, and I'm crying in the waiting room, and I do not cry in public, like, at all. I'm not that type of person, but I'm, just waiting. And then my boyfriend had to get blood work done, so I go back to the area with him, and then I see the doctor coming down, and she's like, can we go in a room and talk? And I was like, no, I don't want this. I know what's about to happen. And we go in the room and she's like, your results are abnormal and I need you to go to the hospital. And I was just like, are you sure? And she's like, yes. And I start crying and I'm like, I just don't want, like, I don't want to die. And she's like, you're not gonna die. She's like, it's my job to make sure that if something is not right, like, I'm getting you to the right places, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do for you so that you don't die. And I was just like, okay. They called an ambulance, and I was like, I've been in an ambulance once and it's not fun. I hate being wheeled out in front of a bunch of people. So like when the EMTs came back, I was like, can I please just walk out to your truck, because I do not want to be wheeled out in a room full of people. And they're like, yeah, we can do that, that's fine. So they send me to the hospital, and we go there and we sit for hours as they do a bunch of blood work. They did x-rays, and they were like, we're not seeing anything on the x-rays. It looks pretty similar to your last x-ray scan. And then they're like, we need a CT scan. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I thought that their limit on their scale was, I thought it was like 500 something. And they were like, no, we're actually like, it's like 50 pounds less than that. And I think they said that I was literally like 16 pounds over their weight limit or something like that. And I was like, you're kidding me. So they're like, we have to send you to another town that can give you your scan. So then they call an ambulance from there, and I'm like, can we just drive over there? Like, you can just take me. I don't want to. Sorry, my cats are going insane. I was like, can we just drive up? Like, oh, wild hair. Anyways, so they're like, no, if there is a chance that you have a blood clot, I don't want you going there, because it could, pulmonary embolism or whatever, anything could happen, and then you don't make it to the hospital in time. At least if you're with our EMTs, they're gonna be able to, if something happens while you're on your way, like they're right there. They can save you or fix it, whatever. So get into the ambulance and I go travel to this other hospital and sit there for hours and hours. And I had an IV in this arm and I still have like the little mark from it. That hurt so bad. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was just like misplaced or something, but every time they were giving me anything, I just felt like my arm was gonna burst. And I kept telling them that, and they were like, it's all fine in there. And I have no idea why it was so sore, but like that was really bugging me. But I go there, I get the CT scan, and then they were like, we want more blood work. The amount of blood that these hospitals took like was insane, which is, it's fine, like obviously they know what they're doing, but like it was a lot. And I was just like, all these tests and everything. And the doctor comes in the room and he's like, you have significant pneumonia spread throughout your lungs, and I think that this is an after effect of long COVID. And I was just like, great, what do I do? And they're like, we need to admit you, like we do not want you leaving, but here's a problem. Our hospital is completely full, so if you're here, you're gonna have to be stuck in this emergency room, which is like so uncomfortable, and you're just out there where everybody else is at, like no privacy or nothing. And they're like, let us call upstairs and see if they have any rooms available or anything we can do. And they call and they're like, yep, we don't have any rooms. And he's like, would it be okay if I sent you back to the other hospital that you were at originally? And I was like, that would be perfect because I live over in that town and it's like right by my house. And he's like, oh great, I'm gonna give him a call. And he comes back and he's like, they got a room available. So I had to take another ambulance ride to this other hospital, and I get there and they have a room waiting for me and they set me all up, and I feel awful at this point. And they're like, we're gonna put you on a steroid, an antibiotic, a blood thinner, just so that you don't have any chance of blood clots forming while you're stuck in bed. Because it didn't have any blood clots, like everything with that came back clear. It was just really bad pneumonia, just all over my lungs. And I swear I was on something else. I can't remember that. It's kind of like a dream. So oh my eye. I don't know if I had like chili on my hand or something when I touched my eye, but like, oh, that burned. I'm there at the hospital and the doctor comes in and he's like, I think we're only gonna need you for like a night, maybe two. You know, we'll just kind of see how you're doing with the medicine and how your body's responding. And I'm like, sounds good. And the next day I get up and I feel about the same, and they're like, any better? And I'm like, no, I don't feel right. Like I still feel gross. And they're like, okay, well, you know, it hasn't even quite been 24 hours. So, you know, let's give it some more time. And he's like, I'm just going to keep you here for one more day and we'll see how you're doing tomorrow, but hopefully you can go home tomorrow. I wake up the next day and I feel so much worse. Like I was like, the nurse came in and she's like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm not doing okay. I feel like I have a fever. I feel like I can't really breathe. Like I could barely talk. My heart rate was so high, and they were like, they couldn't get me it to calm down. Like they were like, no idea why it was so high, because like I usually run between, I'd say like 88 and 110 is like an average, and 110 is usually like when I've got a little bit of anxiety, but like my average is like a pretty normal heart rate. And my heart rate was like consistently around like 135, 145. And they were like, and when I woke up that morning, my heart rate was at 145. It was not going down at all. It was just pounding out of my chest. My lungs were so tight. My oxygen, without oxygen, like without the tubes, I think that it was down to like 74. And they were like, what the hell? Like, why are you declining? Like, you should be on the up and up, and you're not. And they like checked my temperature, and there's no fever. And I was like, I feel a fever. Like, I'm not feeling right. And the night nurse who I was seeing, it was actually a guy. He had left, and then it was the girl that came in, and I was like, I feel like I have a fever. And she was like, that's what Ryan was telling me. And she's like, let me check you again. And she checks me, and guess who's going up and has a fever? And she's like, oh, yep, you're spiking a fever. And she's like, let me go get you some Tylenol to kind of break that, because I was already on so many medications at the moment. And she's like, you know, let's see what we can do. And the doctor comes in and he was like, I was really hoping that I would be able to send you home today, but that is not going to happen. He's like, I am not comfortable sending you home. He's like, obviously you don't have to be here, but I think it would be in your best interest to stay. So of course I'm going to listen to the doctor, and I was just like, I was so scared. Like I remember I called my mom and I was just like, am I gonna die? And she was like, you're not gonna die. And I was like, you're just saying that because you're my mom. And like the nurse comes in and I said to her, like, please don't let me die. Because like I get worried when I get sick, because I get like lung infections, and my lungs have affected me my entire life. Like I have disabilities due to my respiratory system just not liking me since birth. And I was like really, really worried. And the nurse was like, nothing's gonna happen to you. Like, we are giving you everything we can. Like, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be a slow build. And I was like, okay. And, you know, they were like, the biggest thing is that they wanted to get my heart rate down, and they wanted my breathing to just, you know, do what it's supposed to do. So a few days later, I finally start to feel like I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting back into like the normal, not completely better, but like I could feel I was getting better. And I'm still in the hospital, and they had like, my heart rate had finally came down. I think it came down after, I think I was in for like 4 days, and when it finally started to like calm down. And that was after they put me on like high oxygen, and they also were like, let's put you on a CPAP at night and see if that helps with keeping your lungs open, and, you know, making because when I was sleeping, my oxygen was dipping really, really low, and then my heart rate was just like going all over the place. And they were like, let's see if we can do this. So I was in the hospital for exactly a week, and I cannot praise them enough for like all of the nurses and the doctors I saw. They were freaking incredible, and they were so kind. There was only one nurse who kind of gave me like iffy feelings, and I don't know if this is just like her personality, or if she thought that I wasn't doing enough, because they had given me this tool that when you breathe out or breathe in, you put the tube in your mouth, and then it measures it, and it's supposed to help strengthen your lungs. And I was doing that like every hour. I was supposed to do it 10 times. And she comes in and she was just like, okay, you have one job, and that is this. And I was like, oh yeah, I know, they gave that to me like way earlier today. And she's like, you need to be using this like 10 to 20 times an hour. And I was like, oh, I was only using it 10 times because that's what the doctor said. And she's like, no, actually, I want you to do it every commercial break. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm gonna hyperventilate if I do that. And she's just like, because if you want to get out of here, if you want to feel better, you have to put in the work. And I was like, why so like hostile? Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm doing exactly what the doctors are telling me to do. I'm doing my exercises. I'm doing everything I can because I don't want to be in the hospital. And you're coming in here and talking to me or at me like I'm not trying. Like, I don't understand. She could definitely be like a abrasive type of person, or maybe like she's used to patients not doing what they're supposed to do. But I just felt like it just felt like you're kind of coming at me hard here when I've been doing my exercises. I'm doing everything I can. And then I just continued to do it. And then, you know, when every other nurse came in and they're like, how are you doing with this? And I'd explain it to them. They were like, good, that's awesome. Like, that's what I want to hear. Like, you don't have to be so abrasive with me. Like, just talk to me like a human being, please. She was the only one that kind of gave me iffy feelings. But and then also, while I'm in there, I was like, I don't have my stomach medication. Is there any way that I could bring it? And they were like, we'll give you something that's like the equivalent of it, because we'll just have that cleared with the medicines that you're already on. I was like, okay, never had this medicine before. And they gave it to me, and I break out in hives, like all over my stomach, all over my back. And I am just like the first night I'm like itching so bad, and I was like, maybe I was just laying on my side for too long. But then I woke up the next day and I'm like itching, and I look and I'm just welts everywhere, and I look in the mirror and my back is covered, and I was like, oh no. So I call the nurse in and I'm like, I think I'm breaking out in hives. And she looks and she's like, yep, that's hives. And we're like trying to figure out what could be causing it. And they're like, what's a new medication? And then they're like, oh, this stomach medication. And then they were like, maybe it's that. And I was like, I don't know. They gave me another dose and I started breaking out again. So the doctor came in and she was like, the only thing you're on that could cause that is the stomach medication. And I was like, can I please have somebody bring me mine then? And she's like, yeah, just bring it in and then we will take it and we will give it to the pharmacy and they will let us know if you can have that with all this stuff. And so I started taking my medicine again, and it like cleared up and then it came back a couple times. So we're not exactly sure if it was the stomach medication. We think that it was, but I'm also like, could it be the detergent that they use on their blankets or something? But then like when I got home, I had like 2 nights of breakouts, so I have no idea exactly what it was. Pretty sure it was the medicine, but I don't know. So yeah, after a week of the hospital and being on like one of the highest doses of steroids that I've ever been on, like definitely is the highest I've been on, but just high in general, and on antibiotics that I finished like my course in the hospital of that, but they were like, you're gonna have to taper down on these steroids at home. I had to be on the blood thinners, which oh my God, I should try to insert a picture. Bruises, like so bad, and they hurt really bad for the first couple days. And then I was in therapy while I was there, and I was walking around the hospital and I was doing oxygen because I was using like 6 liters of oxygen, and they were like, we cannot comfortably let you leave until you are at least a 3, but we want you to be on 2. So one of the therapists had to come in like while I was showering, and I had to keep oxygen on my face for the whole shower. And then she had to, like every single time, like I think it was like every 5 minutes, she had to check my oxygen. And I would be dipping, and then she'd be like, okay, you need to sit. And she would put me on a timer, which is so hard to do. Like, I'm just trying to shower, and you have to just sit there, and you're not allowed to do anything. And she's like, I know this is hard. And I'm just like, you know, I don't want to pass out, obviously, but like, I just like want to get out, want to get going. And she's like, this is going to be a long road to recovery, and I'm just like showing you now, like exactly how long it's going to be for you. Which means coming home with home oxygen, having to, if I'm showering, having to take breaks and sit, and having to be just the complete opposite of what I am. Like, I hate just like sitting and not doing a lot, and I like to be able to like walk over and check the mail sometimes, or you know, just do whatever and not be hindered. And she's like, you can't do these things. Like, she's like, that first week you're gonna be like, oh, I'm feeling so much better. You're gonna overdo it, and then you're gonna end up either feeling really awful or worse and end up back here. And she's like, you have to take care of yourself if you don't want to end up back here. So I, you know, do everything I'm supposed to. I get out of the hospital, and I've been on home oxygen for today makes 2 weeks. I have an appointment today because we're hoping that I can be cleared of it and I don't have to wear this anymore. Because let me tell you, I have so much respect for people who have to wear home oxygen, because this is not easy. I can't believe, like, it's been such a weird adjustment for life of everything that I have to do. Like showering with oxygen on, walking around and doing anything. I have to sleep with this on. Like, I have to be wearing it almost 24/7. I was on 2 liters though. Now I'm on half a liter, so I should be cleared today. Really, really hopeful that I can take all this equipment back and I don't have to wear it anymore. But yeah, like, huge props to people that have to wear this, because it sucks. even if I get cleared today, I'm still in respiratory recovery, and they said that it could be, 6 weeks before I'm like fully cleared. I just finished my last dose of steroids yesterday. I have no other medications except for inhalers that I need to be on now, and it is just all about recovery. Like I had told, like literally I think it was like 4 days before I went to the hospital, we went to the store and we bought a bunch of got all the stuff to start exercising. Like we got exercise bike, we got weights, and we got stretchy bands, and we had like this whole plan of all this food and exercise we were gonna do. And the doctor was like, all of that kind of needs to be on the back burner for a little bit, which sucks so much because I'm like, all I wanted to do was just like get home and like after I got better and just hit it, which obviously don't do that, you're gonna hurt yourself. So pretty much slow and steady wins the race, and that's what I have to remind myself of. Like right now I am allowed to pretty much walk a block, and I have to stop when I first get there. I have to breathe, I have to do like that, and then I have to also do this one where they're like, you have to be like, and it's to help build and strengthen your lungs, and so I got to do that, and then I can walk back. And she said pretty much it's week by week. So this week I'm allowed to do that, and then next week I can go another block, and then the week after that, like just listen to my body and make sure I'm not overdoing it. Doing my lung exercises, taking my inhalers that I need to be taking, and just really like pretty much making sure that I'm not like breathing super heavy and huffing and puffing, and nothing that's going to just reset me, So before I just like talking in circles and stuff, yeah, that's what's been going on with me. It has not been easy. It has definitely been a journey of realizing that I need to take better care of myself. I have really neglected like my internal health. I stopped taking my daily inhaler because I felt like, I don't want my body to be reliant on it, and that's dumb because my body is reliant on it, and I need to suck it up and take it because look at where I ended up. I've fully neglected taking any vitamins that I am supposed to be on, and like my vitamin D is super low. When I was in the hospital, my potassium was like insanely low. What was the other thing that was really low? What was it? My electrolytes were like super low. Like I've been dropping, and it's because I don't take my multivitamin. I don't take my vitamin D, and I need to be better about that. The other day, I bought a whole new thing of vitamins. I've got my inhalers. I've got everything, and even if I have to set alarms, like I will, because I need to put me first, and I haven't been doing that. And I've been making excuses for myself and just being like, oh, it's fine, I'll just take vitamins here and there. It's not going to do anything if you're not taking them consistently. But like I really make excuses for myself. I need to be better about getting out and walking more because I've been very stagnant on working out, and it's just not okay. And I need to be better about what I'm eating because I've been eating like tons of red meat and a lot of fatty foods that are making me feel so awful all the time. And I'm always like, oh, I hate feeling this way, but then I just constantly go back to eating like that or doing that, and it's like, who are you helping here? Nobody. I went grocery shopping the other day, and I bought like tons of fish, tons of chicken, because it is time to take this seriously. And like this was a huge wake-up call for me. Like I was terrified, and there's only been a couple of times where I was legitimately worried about the outcome of what was going to happen. And I am just like, I'm so grateful that I'm okay and that I am on the mend. And now it's up to me to make sure that I stay okay and that I don't end up in the hospital again. Because obviously with COVID, like, you could be the picture of health and it could take you down, knock you down. Like, it doesn't care. It's just, it affects everybody differently. But I'm like, if I was taking everything that I'm supposed to and really taking care of my lung health, and my goodness, if I was taking care of my respiratory health and my physical health, I just can't help but wonder if maybe it wouldn't have been as bad, you know? Like, maybe I wouldn't have ended up in the hospital, or maybe my body would have just been a little bit stronger and not taken as long to get better. You know, just all these things that go through your head, which obviously, I don't know. I mean, I could have still ended up there no matter what I was doing, but I just don't want to take that chance of, like, if this were to happen again, I'd rather know that I've been taking care of myself and doing what I'm supposed to be healthy, and be like, okay, you know, it's just happened, than laying there and wondering, like, did I put myself in this situation? Oh, I also had to be on a diuretic because my body swelled so bad when I first got sick. Like, my legs were so tight, and I couldn't believe, like, I had lost, I think it was 14 pounds in like the first 5 days of being there. And most of that was probably water weight, because it was just like all coming out. But anyways, yeah. So this is where we're at. I'm gonna start eating more lean meats and vegetables and taking care of myself that way. Gonna start I was already doing like the exercises, but we're gonna start adding in more walking, and then I can do like the at-home stretchy bands when I'm sitting and stuff. I just can't do anything that makes me like super out of breath right now. So I can still definitely get like some good workouts in. And I'm going to start taking my vitamins and my medicines that help me, and stop making up stupid excuses in my head of why I don't need them or why I don't want to take them. So I'm so sorry. I feel like every single time I've been like, oh, I'm back, like I go missing for a month or two. And I had a whole video set up to post, and then after I got sick, I was like, I can't really post that because it was like, you know, things that can't happen right now. And I was just like, I need to upload something, but I didn't want to do it while I was in the hospital, and I didn't really want to do it while I was like this, but you know, whatever. I want to share things with you guys, and you know, just be completely open and honest with you. And yeah, here we are. So as I said, I'm going to go to the doctor today and hopefully be cleared and not have to have this anymore. And I also have an appointment to get my sleep mask fitted to my face. And, well, because I don't have a mask at the moment, but they're like, the doctor's like, definitely wear CPAP at night. Like, this is going to help with your recovery. And my insurance and the doctors, or not the doctors, but the place that I get the equipment has made that very, very difficult. And it's been 2 weeks that I have not had the CPAP because insurance sucks. But luckily, I have my appointment today. I'm gonna have my mask so I can finally use my machine. And then hopefully it's just a climb, like just a climb to health. And I am going to do everything I can to make sure that I get where I need to be and I stay where I need to be. So I really hope that you guys stick around and you hang on and you join me in this journey, and you're patient with me, because I really am trying here and I miss uploading. I want to be more regular on the uploads. I really, really do. And I hope that I can do that for you guys, but also for me, because it's a really good way to just kind of I don't know, keep me accountable, but also just I enjoy it. It's fun and I really miss doing this. So I hope that you guys are all healthy and you're happy and you are taking care of yourselves and that things are going amazing for you. And I hope that I will upload again soon. Thank you. Bye.